I want you to try exercise 3 on your own. This is a good example of something that might happen on the test. So if you read through exercise 1, you'll see you're given 2 values here, 80% and that we're selecting 7 customers. So we got our P of 0.8, we have our N of 7. And then we have a question that says, which of the following describes the distribution of X, the number that requests water? So again, N and P are a good heads up, but the word number gives us the pat on the back. We're dealing with a binomial. So binomial with the N and P, that gives us A. Now, don't get caught up in the fact that we're in 5.7 and that we've been doing things with the approximate normal. Our N is already smaller than 10. There's no way we can use the approximate normal, right? This is going to get chopped off at the edges. So all of these other things are out. And that means when we go to the second part and we're looking for a probability, we have to use the binomial. The most common mistake on this question is to draw a curve and do this as a normal question when it's not. So 0 up to and including, none to all, at least 5 is this. So we're going to do a 1 minus binom CDF. N, P, okay baby, I'm coming. There we go. The value you would have got if you'd used normal CDF here would have been very, very different. Because like I said, we don't have that continuous distribution underneath this or anything even close to it. So if we took a larger random sample of 119 customers, we're now changing our N to 119, which is much larger than 7. We still have a P of 0.8. And they're asking us for the mean and standard deviation. So again, our NP and our square root of NPQ. All right, so that should be your calculations. Then the last question here, which as I said, on the exam, it'll just say using the normal approximation. It won't have these like steps helping you along the way. It says using the mean and standard deviation from above, what is the probability of at most 100 selecting or requesting water? So since we're using that mean and standard deviation, that means we've got to be using the normal distribution that's going on underneath the surface here, right? So centered at 95.2, we want at most 100, so 100, and at most means that's the most it can possibly be, so we're shading the left side of this curve. And if we're finding the area under a normal curve, we're using normal CDF. Negative E99 because we shaded the left side, up to 100. Cat, 95.2 is the mean, standard deviation of 4.3635. All right, so that's your calculation. I'll go ahead and do it so that we can be done with this section of the notes. But again, just one of these questions on the exam, and look through my old exams. You'll see how I normally ask it, but it's typically just to use the normal approximation to the binomial to solve this question. So it's letting you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and that you have 2 steps, figuring out what the heck your mean and standard deviation are, and then using normal CDF to find your probability.